Welcome. In this video, we will discuss about the Indian-Iran relation, Chabad Port. So we will discuss about how the India and Iran relationship have been through ages now and what is the component of Chabad Port that played into the relationship and some other contemporary issues as well. So in this video, the major focus would be the relationship of India and Iran, but the major portion of it would be from the prospect of the India's interest in the Chabad port. So let's begin. Recently, Iran's Port and Maritime Organization has conveyed to India a request for locomotives and signaling equipment for Chabar Jinedan railway line. So there is a in Chabar port there is a construction of railway line, and for that railway line what Iran has done, they had come to India and requested for locomotives as well as signaling equipments. Iran has been facing difficulty in procuring them directly due to the sanctions imposed by the USA. So we have in the previous video also discussed about the JCPOA, which was basically the deal which was happened between Iran and USA and other countries who came together to see that if Iran does not go ahead with the planning of enrichment of uranium so that their nuclear program is kind of severely monitored, if they follow with this particular their agreement, then there won't be any sanction. But eventually in the Trump administration, US has been saying that Iran is not fulfilling its promise, and because of it, it's again pushed the sanction over the Iran. And because of it, the sanctions which were pushed by the USA, Iran was not able to procure these particular equipments from elsewhere, and hence they have requested India. Iran has also asked India to activate USD 150 million credit line, which was offered to it by India during the Iranian president visit in 2018. So in 2018, when Iranian president visited India, India offered the help of 150 million USD. So Iran is now asking that it would be really good if India could release that particular fund. So this is the background in which this particular news came into picture. Let's move forward and try to understand the background. So what happened in May 2016? India, Iran and Afghanistan signed a trilateral agreement which entailed the establishment of Transit and Transport Corridor. TTC was kind of envisioned when Iran, India and Afghanistan came together in 2016. It was to use Chabad port in Iran as one of the regional hubs for sea transportation. So for the entire TTC which was being envisioned in this trilateral agreement, Chabad port was supposed to act as a regional hub for sea transportation. Construction of a rail line from Chabar port to Jehedan along the border with Afghanistan as an alternative trade route to Afghanistan and Central Asia was also a part of it. So what happened as of now, if you look at the geography of India, we are very few part of it is directly connected with Afghanistan from the Gilgit-Baltistan side. Actually, it is the one which is we share the border with Afghanistan. But if you see, it is actually through Pakistan we could get to Afghanistan, and same thing goes with Central Asia. And because of such kind of dependency, it was envisioned that Pakistan used to create hurdle in terms of the India's trade with Central Asia. So in order to overcome that, it was envisioned that Chabar port is going to be very beneficial. The state-owned Indian Railways Construction Limited, which is IRCON, signed a memorandum of understanding with the Iranian Railway Ministry to provide all services, superstructure work and financing around 1.6 billion. So this is what IRCON has actually promised for the construction of Chabar port, that India will be providing the superstructure and services to that particular port. So this is the background in which the Chabar port become a strategic point for India foreign policy with Iran. Now, but what happened? You must have actually heard of this news, or if you have been following around, you would have known that in July 2020, Iran decided to proceed with the railway line construction on its own, citing delays from the Indian side in beginning and funding the project. So what Iran has said that in the July this year itself, they said that they are going to go ahead with the construction of the railway line because India has not released the fund and it is not beginning the project. So because of it, it excluded India from the railway line. But what India has come up with, or what India's defense has been, that IRCON, which is the company which was assigned with the task of completing the project, completed the site inspection and feasibility report as well, and had been waiting for the Iranian side to appoint a nodal authority. So what India says that there was no nodal authority appointed from the Iranian side, and that's why there has been delayed. Apart from that, although the project has secured a special waiver from the USA, India is hesitant to deal with the construction company, which has link with Islamic Revolutionary Guard and is under the sanction. So basically, Islamic Revolutionary Guard is one of the company which is along with the construction, which will undertake the construction in the Chhabar port, and India is skeptical about the legitimacy of that particular company. So IRGC is a hardline force which operates its own military infrastructure in parallel to Iran's regular armed force. In fact, in July 2020, it launched Iran's first military satellite Noor. So that is also something which happened in terms of how the India was skeptical to go ahead with the project because one of the construction company is actually associated with the military facilities as well. Fear of sanction by the US has also impacted India's interest in the Farzad B gas field project of Iran. Now, what is Farzad B gas field project? We will try to understand that in the upcoming slide. But the thing is, recently the US election result has came out, and it has been speculated that Biden might not be going ahead with the sanctions which were posed during the Trump administration, but it is so very early to say anything about it. Just keep an eye on what kind of scenario it is, because if the sanction from Iran has been removed, it will actually help India in terms of going ahead with its construction plan as well as for importing oil as well. Now let's also try to understand why the Chhabar port is so important for India. So just remember TCS, trade, connectivity and security. From all three perspectives, Chhabar port was very important for India's strategic interest in the Central Asia. So it is being considered a gateway to golden opportunities to trade by the three countries. Which three countries? India, Iran and Afghanistan, with other Central Asian countries in the wake of Pakistan denying transit access to India. So as mentioned earlier, India and Pakistan does not share very cordial relationship, and because of it, a lot of time Pakistan create hurdle in the movement of trade or the connectivity between India and other Central Asian countries. Then in terms of security also, Chhabar port is very important. So China is aggressively pursuing its own Belt and Road Initiative. The port can also act as a counter to Pakistan Gwadar port, which is being developed with the Chinese investment. So Gwadar port in Pakistan is being developed by the China under its BRI. BRI is nothing but this major infrastructure project through which it is trying to connect from China from till Europe. So the entire belt kind of things is the Belt and Road Initiative of China, and Gwadar port of Pakistan is one of the component of it. So through Chhabar port, India is also trying to counter the importance of Gwadar port. Now connectivity. In future, Chhabar project and the international north-south transport corridor will complement each other by optimizing Indian connectivity with Russia and Eurasia. So international north-south transit corridor is the one which runs around from the northern Russia towards the Southeast Asia. So the entire north-south international corridor along with Chabad could have provided India with the connectivity to the Russia and even to the Eurasia. So that was the connectivity component of it. So Chabad port was very important for the strategic interest of India in the whole Central Asian region. Now let's try to understand where the geography of Chabad port is, where it is exactly located. So it is located on the Gulf of Oman and is only 72 km away from the Gwadar port in Pakistan, which has been developed by China. So if you see in this picture, this is India, Pakistan. This is the Gwadar port, which is developed by China under the BRI, its Belt and Road Initiative. And over here is Chabar, which is in Iran, and this is where India actually promised that it is going to construct the Chabar port. So it was kind of, if you see over here, the distance is very just 72 kilometer, and it would have been very beneficial for India to counter the prominence of Gwadar port, which was being developed by China and was in Pakistan. So that was the major region because of which Chabar port was strategically also very important. And over here, if in from the geography you see, it is in the Gulf of Oman. The port serves as the only oceanic port of Iran. Just remember this point, it's just a fact that this is the only oceanic port of Iran and consists of two separate ports named Shahid Baheshti and Shahid Kalantari. So these are the two different ports which are present over here. So thing for you to remember from the geographic point of view of Chabar port is that it is located in Iran, it is close to a Gwadar port, and it is on the Gulf of Oman. So these are the things that you need to know. Now let's, as discussed earlier, that India has now also become skeptical about the Farzad B gas field. Let's just try to understand where it is. So it is located in the Persian Gulf, Iran side, and the contract for exploration of field was signed in 2002 itself by the Indian consortium comprising of ONGC, Videsh, and Indian Oil Corporation and Oil India. So these are the consortium of oil companies which actually proposed a contract for the Farzad B gas field in 2002 itself. The contract expired in 2009 after the declaration of commerciality of the field based on the gas discovery. Since then, consortium has been trying to secure the contract for development of the field. So this has not come into picture, and in fact in 2018 it is said that around 80% of the formality which were needed for India to go ahead with the development of this particular field was done, and then the USA came up with the sanction, and after that again this whole project came into the little bit of skepticism from the Indian side. So if you look at the picture over here, this Farzad gas field is located in the Persian Gulf and it is near the Iran side. So if you see over here, this is near the Iran side. This is your Farzad gas field. Here is Bahrain, Qatar, and all these bordering countries. So you just need to remember that this Farzad B gas field is located in the Persian Gulf on the Iran side. So I hope you have understood this video. This topic is again important for your international relationship between India and Iran. You can point out all these strategic relationship between India and Iran in your answer. So if you have any doubt, feel free to drop a comment. Thank you.